Well, I'm joined today by Annmarie Etuk-Campbell, who is a psychotherapist and counselor, and she's here to talk with us about mental health. Thank you so much for joining us, Annmarie.
Thank you so much for having me.
You know, you've done a lot of work and continue to do a lot of work in the area of mental health. So can you tell us a little bit about what you do and why this area of mental health is so important to you?
Absolutely. Mental health is very important to me. Just being a Black woman, navigating stigma, etc. Mental health has been that bridge to be able to help different communities, including BIPOC professionals and others within day-to-day life through whatever they're going through. It doesn't always have to be something bad. Sometimes I do get to hear wins in my office. So it's important sometimes just have a soundboard of someone who is objective, impartial, and you can be able to talk to them about whatever you're going through.
So let's talk a little bit about that. What have you seen in your work that is kind of moving the needle in normalizing mental health conversations? And is there anything that you feel still needs to be done?
Absolutely. So I find the various initiatives that we have, I know there's specific weeks, months, etc., where we talk about sometimes men's mental health, BIPOC mental health, women's mental health, etc. Those various initiatives help to humanize the mental health experience. Sometimes when we hear the term mental health, we think of something that's depicted in television or in books, but actually being able to see the humans behind who may be struggling with their mental health or who just want to have a conversation and open that floor up. I love to see that done month to month. I think how we can improve it, or there's different ways and things that we need, is within the stigma aspect. I do find that there still is a lot of stigma in various communities regarding mental health. They think that it looks a certain way or that something has to be wrong with you in order to receive mental health treatment.
Right, that's a good point. So you're saying, hey, you don't have to wait to the point that you're at a breaking point.
Yes.
It's important for all of us, wherever we're at, to really think about our mental health. And sometimes that means seeing a psychotherapist, a counselor before things get worse.
Exactly.
Yeah. Speaking along that lines, this next question really actually speaks to that, in that many people feel maybe alone, ashamed, we just kind of talked about that, or afraid to reach out or unsure as to how. So what first steps maybe for someone watching today who's in that space, what would you say to them would be a first step to kind of take towards getting help, or at least seeking where they need help?
I would say a very tangible first step, many therapists or counselors offer what we call a consultation.
Right.
Oftentimes they range between 15 minutes to 30 minutes. Most of the times it's free, which is amazing. And that helps you to get to know who your therapist is, get a feel more of them. Maybe you do a consult with one person, you don't feel as connected, but you do a consult with the next person and you feel very connected. Right. So it allows you to have almost like a tidbit of how this might look like and what goals you can focus on within therapy. Another thing that many individuals can utilize is helplines. Helplines are here with trained professionals to be able to assist you at any time. Some helplines are even evolving that, depending on your circumstance, you can even text them. So it doesn't have to be this, I need to make a call and I'm not in private, or I feel judged because of who I'm around. You can simply send a quick text. But I for sure would recommend that 15-minute consultation.
Oh, that's great. I didn't realize that, even texting helplines and stuff. So it's that initial, like, get the help in that moment, and also just an opportunity to see without that commitment, right? That 15-minute consultation. So you specialize in trauma, grief, working with youth and young adults. Can you maybe share a story, obviously respecting confidentiality, of where you've seen someone really where counseling or working with you and your organization made a big difference in their life?
Yes. So I won't share a story per se, just because I wouldn't want one of my clients to see this and be like, oh my gosh, that's me. But I will share, I was on a recent panel at a seat at our table, and the conversation got brought up of forgiveness. It was the theme of Godfidence, and they were talking about what does forgiveness look like in the terms of a Christian lens.
Right.
So oftentimes in childhood, we're taught that when you forgive somebody, that means they have to have access to you once again. you see it all the time with children when they say, oh, say sorry, now hug, you're okay. But what we learn as adults is that actually sometimes it's not okay. Just because you forgive someone does not mean that they deserve access to you once again.
That's good.
So having those boundaries, setting that time with the person that maybe you've offended me to a point where our relationship has to evolve. I radically forgive you and I don't have anything in my heart against you, but maybe I don't want you to be that close to me again. So that's something that I would say was a big takeaway for many individuals and participants, in that they were so enamored by that fact that I can forgive someone, but that doesn't mean I have to give them access again.
To me. That is actually a really important part for all of us to understand, especially when it comes to childhood trauma and people who have really misused that relationship with us. So in your experience working with grief and trauma, maybe someone again watching today is going, okay, I've experienced this, I've walked through this. What are some signs that they can either look for in themselves, or maybe somebody that they know that indicates, okay, I need to get deeper support. I need to make sure that I'm really healing through this. What would you say to them today to look for?
So a key sign is that hopelessness aspect. Maybe you're waking up, you're not finding joy, you're maybe even feeling like you don't want to be here anymore.
Right.
Those are some key telling signs that you could be operating in survival mode. Maybe you're burning out. Maybe things that you used to find joys and pleasure in, you don't want to do it anymore. You're isolating yourself. You're starting to feel that life is a performance, where in certain avenues you present as this happy, caring, go-lucky person, but when you go home, it's that mask that falls off and you're feeling sad and upset. So those are some key telling signs that when you are starting to feel hopeless, you're starting to isolate yourself, you feel that nobody's for you, that maybe you need to find somebody to talk to that is a professional, that is trained, that can be able to give you the tools and support that you need.
And just as we close here, what would you say to now that individual to just give them a bit of hope or encouragement to take that step?
I would say, why are you waiting? You know what you're going through, nobody else does. And it's important that you take this time now to find who you are and to find that solace and that peace. You can get a practitioner that's trained within Christian therapy if that's a big want for you, a big desire. There's many Christian therapists, there's many therapists in general, but take that next step to find a better and healed version of yourself.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Annmarie, for sharing with us today. It's been very helpful, very practical, and very encouraging, so thank you.
Thank you for having me.